Hello everybody, welcome back to the playthrough. We are on a pretty substantial episode. We are on episode 50 now. I'm quite happy that we've made it this far into the series and that things are going well. It's been quite an enjoyable series to do so far. So yeah, let's get started. So for today's episode we are going to be doing quite a significant amount of housework. Now, there are certain things that I want to focus on doing. I'm currently looking at the back of our building and clearing out some stone and stuff like that, as I want to start working on building a wall around our base, a permanent wall that should hopefully keep out the majority of the nasties. And I also, for today, as you might have seen in our little pre-episode teaser, we are also going to start working on our comfort building, or our house. I don't really know what you would call it. Basically, I'm going to build a bit of a medium-sized building out of stone, put a bit of a wooden roof on it, and we're going to stick all of our comfort increasing stuff in there. We're going to build a lot of the new ones, all that kind of stuff, so that we can have a maximized comfort room to get the most rested bonus that we can, or the longest that we can, to make life a bit easier going forward and not having to worry about it running out halfway through a fight or something like that. I'm also going to take a quick look at some of the new recipes we've unlocked. You can see here all these wood iron poles and stuff in the crafting menu, which are even more build height increases and even more stability increases for buildings. And here's the wooden things that we can build. We do also have some iron parts in this heavy build section of the crafting menu. Got iron cages and iron gateways, all that kind of good stuff. We do have a fair bit that we want to build now that we have unlocked iron, and we have a lot of iron left over. We can make some nails, we can build some of the better comfort increasing things. Just trying to get my bearings at the start of today's episode. Just trying to decide on what we start off with first. We'll take down all the smelters and try and maximize the space in this area here so that we can fit things in properly. I'm thinking that that piece of ground that's directly in front of us between the cart and the boats, we're probably going to flatten that. We're going to remove that big rock, build a wall at the back of it, and this is probably where we will stick our building. We should get a decent sized building in here. It's probably going to bump up right against the coast, but we should be able to get a decent sized building in that little section there. And we are also, as I've said, going to stick a wall down, because I'm getting sick and tired of random creatures like grey dwarfs and greylings and shamans walking up and killing our boar and annoying them. So yeah, we're going to start off with that. We are going to need to cut down a boatload more wood for this, and we might even need to get some more stone. I'm not sure. We do have several piles, or several stacks of 50 sat just outside our base. That's one of the other reasons I want to do this now, is because we are accumulating quite a lot of stone, and I want to start getting rid of it because it's taking up a bit of space. We are still going to keep stone in that area, as it's just a quick and easy way of getting to it once we need it. But we're just getting quite a lot of it now, so yeah, we'll cut down the stocks of stone and use that for some building. There we go, we've run out of wood already, but it's a fairly decent wall. Right, let's get started on taking this stone down. We'll get the wood later. I don't want to immediately start with having to cut down a whole buttload of trees. So we'll just cut out this rock, get it out of the way. We are going to have to go and grab our hoe at some point as well. One quick thing, apologies if I sound a bit drowsy and a bit groggy this morning. I pretty much woke up, had shower and breakfast, and started recording straight away. So yeah, I'm feeling a little bit tired. Still haven't even had our morning cup of tea as us Brits usually do. So yeah, we're still trying to get our minds woken up for the day. So yeah, apologies if I sound a bit off, just a little bit groggy this morning. Going to clear out these trees, just basically just clearing out the area. Might as well grab some wood to extend this wall a bit more. We are going to need quite a bit of it, at least for the wall. With the wall as well, I do want to put some of the larger gates, the wooden gates. Oh, of course you have. Of course, when I'm building a wall, you decide to run in now. So we're going to put some of the larger wooden gates on the kind of like intervals as you're going along the fence. We'll only put like 2 or 3 of them in there. It's just so that when we're going out in a certain direction, we can just go through that gate instead of having to try and awkwardly jump over the wall like we have to do with the majority of our current portals. Whenever we go through them, the walled off area usually doesn't have a gate attached to it. I think a couple of them do, but some of them don't. So we kind of awkwardly have to jump on top of the crafting table and try and jump over it. Got a little bit concerned there. I thought that log was going to take out the wall. It shouldn't, because these wooden stake walls have quite a bit of health. I mean, something big like a troll or an abomination could probably take them down in a couple of hits. They don't have a huge amount of health, but they've got a significant amount more than the wooden fence or just standard wooden walls. So it's one of the reasons I like them. Plus they look quite thematic for Vikings, that kind of stake wooden walls. Now, one thing I'm not 100% sure on is whether or not cutting down big sections of meadows, trees, will actually affect the spawn rate of stuff nearby. So whether or not greylings will spawn a bit deeper into the forest now that we're cutting down a whole bunch of these trees. It would be pretty nice if they did, so it would certainly save us having to be attacked by them all the time. Yeah, I was just thinking about it there, maybe, because I know that with certain creatures, they spawn in certain areas, or at least they're more likely to spawn in certain areas and hang around certain areas. So you might have noticed in our earlier playthrough episodes with exploring the meadows, we noticed that boars, or at least I noticed that boars seem to hang around a bit more in the open. So in the non-wooded areas, you would occasionally find boars kind of wandering into wooded areas, but the majority of them were found in kind of like these big open fields and stuff like that. And then with deer, you always find them in the forest. Like I rarely ever see a deer that's not under some kind of tree cover. I'm kind of the same with greylings as well, actually. I haven't really seen that many greylings just wandering around, unless of course they've been attracted by noise, like to me chopping trees down or something like that. That's what led me to think about this in the first place, was that maybe, just maybe, if we cut a whole bunch of trees down around the base and clear out this area, it does. I do like it as well, because it makes the base a bit easier to spot. You know, you're kind of looking for the edge of the forest, but then you can, it's got this nice clear area around it. You can see things coming, so there's no tree cover for anything that might try to sneak up and attack us. No, but it also might stop them from spawning so close, so that we are less likely to have greylings and skeletons and stuff like that wandering around the walls and trying to get inside our base. One other thing with the way I'm doing the wall here is that we're not completely closed off. We aren't completely safe with the way the walls are, just because I'm building them up to the coast. Some creatures can obviously most creatures can obviously just wander into the ocean, swim around the edge of the wall and still get in if they really wanted to. I mean, I would applaud their dedication to getting inside the wall if they did that, but then they would also be swiftly taken down with a couple of sword swings, so yeah, they can do that. There are situations where that can happen. I think that's one issue that we might have with portals if we don't properly wall it off, is that some creatures are attracted to attacking portals and crafting benches, so if we have them too close to the edge, they might attract nearby enemies, so those enemies might swim around the edge of the wall to get in. But I also think they've actually increased the health of portals. Maybe not a massive amount, but I have seen a portal get attacked a bit, and they haven't been taken down as quickly as they usually would. But I could be wrong about that. It could just be that the creatures attacking them aren't doing much damage at all, and it would take quite a long time for them to take it down. I certainly would say that, especially when you're building portals out in the wilderness, is that walling them off is the most effective way of keeping them safe. Because if you're not nearby, creatures are much less likely to be attracted to attacking them. And then, so that means that when you go to travel through a portal to a certain area, you don't have to worry about the portal itself being knocked down, and then having to travel back to the portal area by somewhere nearby and sailing over or something like that. That section of wall is, yeah, I don't like that section. I'm trying to build it on the edge of this one, but that bush is right in the way. Although it might be a bit too sunken into the ground. That's a bit better, but it's still quite raised. Might have to move those out at some point, the bushes and the rocks that are kind of getting in the way of building the wall. Okay, so I want to connect these two walls together. So we are going to knock these down. We're going to have to be really careful that we don't accidentally knock the portal down. Although, I'll be honest, if we're going to connect these two walls together, might be a better idea for us to knock these portals down and build them along the edge of the wall rather than having them just blocking off a bit of a path. Oh, we're out of wood. Let's grab that one bit. Go. Ah, look at that. Nearly perfect. Might be able to stick a gate on that part and then increase it. And then put another wood wall down where it's kind of built halfway into the other. It'll look a bit awkward, but it should work. Building walls is a bit of a pain. Trying to get it all to line up properly and making sure things are protected and that you're pretty secure in putting it up. But that is the issue when you're building on the coast. It is pretty... Unless you want to build a line of wall right along the edge of the coast, you are pretty much open. So that creatures can still get in. Yeah, I'm not sure why I had to stop and pick up that one bit of wood. That's just because it was right there. I like that our orchard has regrown as well. That was particularly quick for it to regrow. I mean, it was only a couple of days ago when we actually took the wood down. When we were smelting down the iron, so that's a pretty quick regrow time. I saw you coming. Mr. Grayling, your shadow gave you away. I do want to avoid taking down every tree in the nearby area though, and all the bushes and stuff like that. I don't just want it to be some blank landscape that's just grass and then the occasional dandelion or something like that. You know, I want to try to keep some bushes and some trees and, you know, just some decorative pieces for the landscape itself. Now, I could regrow a lot of the trees if I wanted to. Again, we have been keeping hold of the seeds for another reason, but we can still plant them so that we could regrow some trees. We could maybe even place some trees down and, you know, make them look a bit more, make it look a bit more decorative. But I kind of like the natural way that it looks, if that makes sense. Oh, that's not going to work now because you haven't got an anchor to put the gate on. Snapping bottom inner, will that work? Oh, no, it does work. Okay. Which way are we going to face it? That way? Oh, see, it breaks because it doesn't have an anchor to put the other side of the gate on. So we're going to have to put the wall up first. Yeah, it's just going to instantly break every time. So we're going to have to... what is it? Mistake wall. Why are you facing the wrong way? Should we just do one? Yeah, I think we'll just do one, actually. A little bit of an overlap, but it's not too bad. And then, yeah, we're going to have to move you two because that was awkward trying to walk in between them both. So we'll take that one down and place it up against the wall. The other good thing about doing this is it's giving us a bit more room to put more portals down, and we are going to need more portals in the future, so it just gives us more space to play with. And we can also increase the size of the wall as well. The way I would do it is I'd build a wider outer wall and then take down the inner wall when it was finished. There we go, beautiful. It's night time, so probably a good idea for us to quickly repair up and then go to sleep. I'm just going to quickly use the resin that we've picked up to fill up these standing torches. I think at some point I'm probably going to take these standing torches down, just because they are providing some light and they are lighting up the corners of the room, but it's not a huge amount. Plus with the two hearths that we have in the middle of the room, they are providing plenty of light, and then obviously the bonfire in the middle of the room here is lighting up this whole room. I just wanted the edges to have a bit more light for them, especially when crafting and stuff. But I don't know. I probably will take them down at some point, but for now, I do like having them up just because they are a good place to just get rid of some resin. The resin chest does tend to fill up very quickly, and you tend to have a lot of it. There's a lot of different things drop resin, like trees and greylings and grey dwarfs and stuff like that. So just having a bunch of these torches up to just dump 4 bits of resin in for each one just makes it, you know, kind of gets rid of your stocks a bit. See, there you go. Our chest isn't at risk of being completely full now because we've taken out at least 40 of them. And it does look a lot nicer when the whole room's lit up. Right, sleep through the night. Did we get a message this time? Unloading unused assets. Oh, okay. That's a weird dream for a Viking to have. Well, sounds like the piggies just had a 3rd baby. 2 in our previous episode and 1 today, I think. Yeah, it kind of looks like it. How did you... I told you. Oh, that's it. Again, Great Dwarf Shaman. You can see all... Kill this guy first. You can see all the sparkles in the middle, in the corner there. If they killed every ball but one, I think they have. Come on, jump over the fence. Oh no, we're okay. We're okay. There's a couple of little piggies. I think, I'm not 100% sure about this because I've never actually seen it, but I think the baby pigs can't be killed. Because I've never tried to stab them with the butcher's knife to cull animals, and I've never actually seen them get killed by creatures attacking them. Now, granted, I haven't sat and watched creatures attack them, so I haven't seen the shaman walk up and attack and kill baby pigs, but baby boar, sorry. It could be a thing, but we might be okay as long as we have a couple of babies wandering around. If grey dwarfs do come up and get in there and the shaman does do his poison spray right in the face of them all, maybe the babies will survive. So we're okay for now. We still have a couple of babies that are waiting to grow up, so we can still replenish our boar. This is the reason why I wanted to build this fence. One thing we will have to do as well is we're going to have to build a campfire or some kind of fire near the edge of the wall to stop them. Because I think the reason why they got in there was not because they walked around the edge of the wall, but because we don't have any light sources or fires out that far to the edge of our wall, so that grey dwarfs were spawning inside the wall. That will be solved when we have our building up, because we will have a hearth in there as well. So that will hopefully prevent anything from spawning inside the wall. It might even prevent them from actually walking in the wall, because that building corner will be right on the edge of the coast of the wall itself, like the outer wall itself, so I don't think they'll come in from that side. Right, we've got our hoe, and you might have seen there we also had an extra build piece from the hoe, which is the paved road. So you can build paved roads on the ground with the hoe. I quite like them actually, because, oh, for God's sake, grey dwarf or greyling, go away, get out of my base. There we go. Actually, sorry, the paved roads, they are quite thematic, quite nice. They do look quite good. If you're going to have several buildings, so we might do this as well. You could have like a paved pathway between each building, which would look quite nice. But I believe it's also makes it a lot easier for you to pull around a cart. Especially a heavy cart as well, if you've just got back from gathering a whole boatload of ore. Having a paved pathway to pull it along, I think it's a lot easier to pull. Something we might have to test in the future. Now, we have brought our stone cutter table outside here because, like all crafting tables, it does have a building radius, and I don't think from inside our main building that the radius is going to be large enough for getting this building done. So yeah, you can see there the radius is quite large. That should encompass exactly everything we need. And to start off, we're going to put down these stone floor pieces. Okay, So one thing to be aware of when you decide to start building anything out of stone is that the requirements for building anything with stone is a lot higher than wood. So one thing you'll see in a second is that the stairs that we're trying to build here, they require 8 bits of stone per block. The actual flooring bits we've been putting in, they require 6 pieces of stone per block, and the walls are even more so. And one thing, I've always had a bit of a gripe about building walls out of stone when it comes to Valheim, especially if you're trying to build an actual building, is because they have some odd choices in the size and the shape that you can build, which you will see shortly once we start putting a wall on this thing. First thing though, we're going to have to raise this ground up a little bit, as that stone block wasn't going to connect to the floor. Yep, it is now because it's blue. Perfect. Quite decent size, although... Yeah, okay, so walls. So this is the first, the main wall that you will build. It's a 4x2, so it's 4 blocks long and 2 blocks high. We are going to need some more, even more stone. This time we'll grab 3 stacks, which should be about 150. Yep, yes it is. Right, so... Now I want to build these on the outside, because those stone floor bits are going to be the main flooring part, and then we want the walls to go around the outside. But then... Say if you're building walls and then you want to build this little section here, they don't have a 2x2, they only have a 2x1. Which means that you have to do something like this, which is stacking those 2x1 bits on top of each other. I don't know, for me it's just a bit awkward, because then you've got sections of wall, these long sections of wall that look really solid and smooth and there's no cracks or anything in them, and then you've got to build these 2 little bits here. Now don't get me wrong, you could always just make sure that your building is 6 long or 4 long or something like that, so you've only got to put 2 or 3 of these longer sections in to avoid having those smaller bits, but I don't know, it's just a bit awkward. I just don't know why they didn't do a 2x1 or a 2x2 block so that you could have these little corner wall sections look a bit better. But again, I'm just being picky. That's just me wanting everything to look smooth and clean. But it's still pretty good. I quite like the way it turns out. When it comes to building with stone, stone buildings do look pretty good. Although I suppose if you wanted it to look a bit more like bricks, like you're building a proper bricked house, you could just use the 2x2 bits. There we go. Finally got that bit to snap into the place I wanted it to. Oh god, now this one's going in the floor. I'm going to change the snapping again. Can we get it? Snapping auto? No, right, we're going to have to do it by the top, I think. Maybe the bottom. Yeah, there we go. Top 4, right in the corner. Perfect. So yeah, so this corner here in front of us looks quite smooth and quite nice because we don't have the 2 bits. But then when we want to build the wall up... We put it there? Actually, no, we're going to put it here, actually, because I'm going to leave this little block in the middle open because I want to build a little window. There is a wooden piece that you can build with iron nails that actually makes a pretty nice looking window. So we'll put one of those on. Put that block on there and put these 2. You'll see it now when I build these 2 up. So it looks quite uniform and stuff, and then you've got just these 2 blocks in the middle. But again, I'm just being nitpicky. It's not a huge problem, but... Right, so I'm going to use one of these blocks to place this window. I'm just trying to decide whether I want the block to be on top or on the bottom. These wood shutters are the bits I'm talking about. They're essentially just 1 block by 1 block gates, almost, or shutters that you can use for windows. But you have to have iron nails in order to build them, which is the problematic part of them. Is it iron nails or maybe bronze nails, actually? I could be wrong about that. And we are just going to quickly take a bit of food, some stamina food, just because we are using stamina to build, so make it a bit easier for us. Wood shutter. Oh no, sorry, it's bronze nails for the wood shutters. Now, I want to have them on the inside or outside. I think on the inside is probably going to look a bit better. Put them up and see how we feel. Yeah, that looks that looks okay, I think. And then you can close them again. You can have one of them open. You can have both open. It looks okay. It's just a rudimentary window style. I'm a bit 50-50 with it. It's something we'll have a look at possibly changing in future. Right, so we're going to use the standard wooden gates as doors to start off with, because they are perfectly... they are the perfect height. Now, we do need some more wood, as we've just run out. We're going to need some more wood to do the roof as well, so we might as well go and grab some more whilst we're here. Pop out and grab some. Now, one thing you might be wondering as well with this episode is that why didn't I turn this particular part into a building episode, so another Let's Build. It's because with this stone building, I'm not going for beauty or form with it, it's function. So it's just a quick building. It's exactly the same as the crafting room, and heck, I could have even done it with the first building that we made as well, the original building, because they're all for form. They are not for, they are all for function, not form. So I'm not putting all this effort in to make them look big and beautiful. I'm not going for any kind of like specific style of building. They are pretty much just a rectangular shaped building with a roof. They might have a few decorative pieces in there and that's it. I'm not going to spend hours and hours trying to make them look like a certain type of building, like this is a country farmhouse and this is a city apartment and stuff like that. I'm just going for basic functional buildings, and because I'm going for that, they are quicker to build. And when I was cutting up this current footage into episodes, it got to the point, no matter how I did it, unless I made the first episode an hour long, it was going to be that the building was either going to be started halfway through one episode, or it was going to start at the beginning, towards the end of another episode. So it was just, I just couldn't get the timing right on it. So I've just decided to leave it in the playthrough as just part of the episodes. And yeah, I think it works okay, because it doesn't take us too long to do this. I think the longest part is just the roof, because we have to kind of build a ladder to get up there, but we should be okay. If we have enough wood at the time, we should be able to get the roof on there. Now, I'm currently deciding whether I finish off the top part of the wall by building these wooden parts here, or if we decide to just build more stone on top. Building more stone on top wouldn't be that bad. The wooden part doesn't look too good. The reason why I didn't want to do the wooden part on top of here is because the stone walls are a block thick, whereas obviously the wooden walls aren't. They're just very thin, and it would have just looked awkward putting them on the inside or the outside. So I think I've just decided to stick with stone for the time being, and then yeah, we'll just use wood for the actual roof itself. Now, probably going to end the episode in a couple of minutes. We'll just carry on sticking some walls up. We won't get the full building finished in today's episode, but we will start off the next episode with continuing on. See what I mean? Trying to climb up this wall is a bit of a pain. We are going to need to build something in order to jump off of, or jump on. Jump on top of there. There we go. That is the good thing about having these walls be this thick, which is that you can walk along them quite easily, and it's not causing any damage to them whilst you're walking along them. That's something I haven't mentioned about the hearth. So the two big stone fire pits that we've built in our main building, with the iron cooking station, the cauldron over the top of them, if you were to stand on top of those hearths, so actually standing on the wood, on the stone part of the hearth, it does cause a small amount of damage whilst you stood there. Oh god, we missed. We should not have built that section first. Oh well, we should be alright to just look at them from down here and get the bits on properly. Yeah. So with those stone hearths, if you were to stand on them, on the actual stone part, it does cause damage. There are certain positions and angles that you can stand where it doesn't cause damage, but the majority of the time, it will just damage it as you stood there. So yeah, just be careful with those. That's why I was being a bit picky with the position of the cauldron, because I don't want to have to stand on the stone hearth itself to use the cauldron, because I could damage it to the point where it does break. There we go, now we can start putting the roof on. Every time I look at that window and those shutters, I'm a bit about it. I'm kind of, I don't know, we might relook at doing that, maybe changing the position of it, or doing the shutters in a bit of a different way. But we'll look at that in our next episode. We're just going to focus on getting the roof on for now. It is just the standard wooden roof tiles. There is another type of roof tile that we will unlock in a future episode, which I might look at changing this over with, but again, for the time being, we're going to leave it as just this. Oh, we're out of wood again, so let's go off and get some more. And these gates do make it nice and easy. Oh, that's mistake number one. Should always remember when you're leaving your base, if you have a big wall around it and you've got gateways, always close the gate. Always close the gate. Because sometimes something will wander in there. It'll be attracted to the balls or something like that, and it'll just wander in. So yeah, I need to start remembering getting into the routine of closing the gates when I leave the base. But yeah, whilst we're cutting these trees down, I think now will be a pretty decent time to end the episode. So thank you everybody for watching. I certainly hope you've enjoyed this one, and I will catch you in the next one where we finish our building.